Hello and welcome to the inaugural PNP Videocast. For those unfamiliar, my name is Brian, and this spun out of another channel, Pics and Portraits. There I curate the aesthetic series Sleepcore, as well as produce video essays around the subjects or themes of nostalgia, animation, and retrofuturism. The goal here is to continue producing content around those themes in a similar format, the video podcast. We are going to be kicking things off in very familiar territory for us. Given the popularity of Amazon's new recent adaptation of Fallout, I thought we would dive into the franchise and see how it used retrofuturism in developing its aesthetic. We are going to be exploring this mostly through conceptual art and marketing material. Very excited, love the games, love the series. Before we get into it though, I've got to plug the Patreon. It's what keeps content coming. This doesn't exist without our patrons, who in exchange for the support get access to dozens of exclusive videos. So if you're into what we do, you like what you see, and you want to see more, please consider supporting us. Patreon.com/picsandportraits. Now, I'd like to begin with a bit of a primer on retrofuturism. I want to break it down both conceptually and aesthetically. At its core, it's a pretty simple idea: what the past thought the future would be. I think the most interesting, or certainly the most important thing to remember about retrofuturism, though, is that it is not about the future, but instead the past. These are futures viewed from specific points in time and are informed by the state and culture of those times, whether an explicit or attempted prediction based off of research or trends or just straight up imagination, science fiction. Arguably all retrofuturism is science fiction, as nobody can see the future, but of course some ideas or predictions end up coming true. You see this a lot with technology. As an example, video calling has shown up in media since the telephone was young. An obvious progression: first our voice traveled, and then our image. Because of the relationship between technology and the future, futurism has been a very powerful marketing tool. Companies use the future to sell their products. By setting a commercial or advertisement in the future, it shows quality, that the products are built to last, or that the brand will still be around hundreds or thousands of years from now. Telecommunications and the auto industry have probably contributed the most, general manufacturing as well. Comfort and convenience are hallmarks of futurism: push-button dreams, automated everything. Fallout took a ton of inspiration from old industrial films made by companies claiming to be creating the car or the material, the world of tomorrow. In-game tutorials followed this format, same with Fallout 3's excellent marketing campaign, Prepare for the Future. This was an interactive website where you could view several different videos, all styled after industrial films, that promoted aspects of the game, introduced players to weapons, the locale. These are great. I will post a link in the description if you want to check them out. While it can be very dark at times, the Fallout universe has its fair share of comedy. The future can be fun. Retrofuturism doesn't have to be clinical or serious. There is a lot of absurdity in some of the ideas that we see. It doesn't mean the people who came up with them are stupid or that they don't know what they were talking about. New concepts are discovered or disproven, or they were just having fun and using the future as a device, which leads to the other side of retrofuturism, and that is the aesthetic. Aesthetics can exist long before they're contextualized. They can also be recontextualized, which we see in Fallout. Certain designs and ideas inform aesthetics. Aesthetically, the future is often streamlined. It's sleek, aerodynamic, frivolous. Many designs place looking cool or interesting above practicality or functionality. Something doesn't have to take place in the future to use aesthetics associated with the future, though it does take place in the future. Fallout does this in certain ways. So does Sky Captain, imagining a world inspired by the aesthetics of the 1939 New York World's Fair, which is absolutely iconic in terms of retrofuturism. Categorizing the future as utopian or dystopian can have an impact on the aesthetic as well. These two ideas are not necessarily mutually exclusive. One person's utopia can be another person's dystopian nightmare. Both can also exist concurrently, again, which is seen in Fallout. Given enough time, all futurism eventually becomes retrofuturism. Just like nostalgia, it can be a subjective thing. I, for one, love Millennium Futurism and the Y2K aesthetic. For some people, the year 2000 doesn't seem like that long ago, but for others, it's their entire life. Fallout is very much rooted in mid-20th century futurism, living in the post-war boom. The future was bright, all these amazing things seemed possible, tons of optimism, that great big beautiful tomorrow, all tinged with an underlying feeling of dread that at any moment the atomic bombs would drop and the world would end. That is the vibe of Fallout. Now, I don't want to talk about the games as games or go through the history of the franchise, but I do want to outline Fallout's future as the games follow an established timeline and formula. First off, Fallout is not imagined from our past, or I guess our present. It is an alternate history. Fallout's future is built off of the idea that the transistor wasn't invented in 1947. The transistor has had a huge impact on the future we live in. Our connected world wouldn't exist without it, and that's what Fallout imagines, with similar technological progress made instead using atomic fusion and vacuum tubes. I talked earlier about recontextualizing aesthetics. Atom punk is the name that has been given or is used to describe media produced in this style, influenced by mid-20th century modernism, the atomic age, the space age. Fallout's world resembles 1950s and 60s America with fantastic technological advances like robots, AI, computers, wearable tech, the Pip-Boy. This device attaches to the user's wrists and acts very much like a computer or a smartphone. It has navigational tools, a map, quest log, radio. It can play audio files like an iPod or a MP3 player. The TVs and computers are all stylized after the Philco Predicta, dubbed the television of the future in the late 1950s. Very cool design. The culture of that time remained as well. The philosophical conflict and paranoia of the Cold War lasted well into the future, eventually leading to nuclear war. The bombs dropped in 2077, and that's how Fallout ended up with a post-apocalyptic future still rooted in mid-century American culture. The writing of war was on the wall years before the bombs dropped, and the megacorp Vault-Tec received government funding to construct massive Fallout shelters known as vaults, which I think are the most interesting part of Fallout. While they were made under the guise of protection, many vaults were set up with different gimmicks, and the residents were involuntary test subjects. Depending on the vault, vault dwellers could experience a comparatively stable life compared to others, even in other vaults. They are identified by their iconic jumpsuits featuring the number of the vaults they're from on the back. Some of the games are framed around the players leaving the vaults and discovering the Wasteland. That's the name given to the surface. It's populated by descendants of those who didn't grow up in vaults. There are dangerous wildlife up there, mutated beasts like deathclaws, mirelurks, radroaches. Exposure to radiation has also mutated people to varying degrees. Ghouls are an example of this. Some are so far gone that they resemble zombies, while others' appearance has simply changed. Ghouls are low in the class system of the Wasteland, and they are often discriminated against. The Wasteland is rough. While roaming through it, you can interact with various characters and factions. The Brotherhood of Steel is featured heavily in the series marketing, militaristic soldiers who wear advanced protective gear known as power armor. There's also the Enclave, a sort of conspiratorial shadow government that dates back to before the war. The NCR, New California Republic, a post-war government formed in the western states. There are plenty of bands of raiders, savage types. These factions are always at war, which of course never changes. In the Wasteland, recognizable locales are reimagined depending on where each game is set. DC, Boston, the most popular or beloved, New Vegas, Las Vegas, and the surrounding area. These areas obviously embody real-world aspects, but the creators have done a lot of world building with different businesses and brands that exist within the Fallout universe. Fallout does such a great job of building its world. Vault-Tec has a presence. Its mascot, Vault-Boy, is also the series mascot. He is used in marketing, both in-game and the real world. There is Red Rocket, a chain of fueling stations for your atomic rides. The Super Duper Mart, a convenience store chain. General Atomics, which is a takeoff of General Electric, responsible for building many of the robots seen in the Fallout universe. The most popular is probably Mr. Handy, a maintenance robot who can act as maid, servant, security. This is very similar to Rollo, who was featured in a 1940 promotional film about domestic robots, produced by Chevrolet. One of the Prepare for the Future vignettes actually parodied that film, but yeah. That is a general overview of how Fallout has used retrofuturism in developing its aesthetic and identity, which of course has grown into its own thing now. I feel like for a lot of people my age, Fallout was our introduction to retrofuturism, the ideas and aesthetics, and I think it has done an excellent job at capturing the future and the past as one. This was not meant to be exhaustive. These games in this world are huge, so I'm sure there is a ton I missed. Feel free to leave comments, let me know what you think. If you are new here, which I'm sure many of you are, please be sure to subscribe. Check out our other channel as well. New videos are uploaded there weekly. Tons of futurism, media mixes, nostalgia mixes, all around the future. I'm hoping to make a couple videos here every month, so stay tuned. Support us on Patreon if you have the means. Tons of videos, aesthetics, vibes over there. Patreon.com/picsandportraits. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your interest, and I'll see you in the future.